My name is Ike, and today I'm going to talk to you about one of Canada's greatest women, Nellie McClung. Nellie McClung was a political activist, legislator, and author while also being the mother to 5 children. Additionally, she is most famously known for her involvement in the Persons case, that of which enabled women all over Canada to be considered persons by law. What an amazing woman! Someone like her had to have had a great sense of justice from a young age. So let's go back and see how it all started. On October 20th, 1873, Nellie moved with her family to Surreyville, Manitoba in 1880. Did you know that Nellie did not begin school until she was 10 years old? It's amazing that someone that started school so late wrote over 16 books, and it was a huge part of the initiative to give women the right to vote all over Canada. At just 16 years old, Nellie began teaching at a rural school, and even then she showed more of her feminist side. She would go outside in her starched blouse and long skirt and play football with her students at recess. You could probably guess that parents were not too happy with this idea. They believed that football was not a ladies' game and she was setting a bad example. But Nellie was a force to be reckoned with, as she soon won parents over with her tact and good sense. Life went on, and in 1886, just 23 years old, Nellie married Robert Wesley McClung, and her family began. Anyways, Nellie had the opportunity to see what women and children went through caused by overwork, neglect, alcohol abuse, and poverty. Nellie soon became prominent in the Women's Christian Temperance Union, where her mother-in-law was the provincial president. In 1911, the McClungs moved to Winnipeg, where their 5th child would eventually be born. There she joined a group of political activists called the Political Equality League. At the time in Canada, women's suffrage was not a popular cause, and it didn't help that the premier at the time, Manitoba's conservative Premier Roblin, was strongly opposed to giving women the right to vote. And in 1914, McClung and her fellow reformers wanted to defeat him. Winnipeg's women's rights and reform movement welcomed Nellie as an effective speaker, and she won an audience with her humorous argument. Nellie was able to calm fears, and with reasonable discussion, personal charm, irrepressible humor, and her fanciful hats. One of the ways Nellie managed to do this was, along with the Political Equality League, she held a mock play called The Women's Parliament, a satire that turned the tables and poked fun at the dangers of giving men the right to vote. First, a male suffrage rose to speak, and then Premier McClung came up as well. First, she complimented men on their gentlemanly appearance, and then she launched into a contentious attack. Oh no, man is made for something much higher and better than voting. Politics unsettles men, and unsettled men means unsettled bills, broken furniture, broken vows, and divorce? Nellie would say. The play went on tour, so to speak anyways, playing to packed houses and enthusiastic audiences. Eventually, the success of the mock parliament led to the success of the League's campaign. The Liberal Party had swayed in their favor, so when the Liberal Party won the next election, they were able to further sway their opinions by writing a petition to them. And finally, in 1916, Manitoba women were given the right to vote. However, Nellie had already moved to Alberta 2 years before, but don't worry, she was about to take her mission there as well. And thanks from all of Nellie's hard work in Manitoba, in 1916, Alberta women were enfranchised. In Alberta, she sought for the prohibition of door rights, for women factory safety legislation, and many other reforms. She gained wide prominence from speaking in Britain at the Methodist Ecumenical Conference and through speaking tours throughout Canada and the USA. Nellie eventually became a Liberal MLA from 1921 to 1926, and although she was not re-elected, during her term she did deal with these issues, such as old age pensions, amendments to the Dower Act, public health services, and better factory conditions, as well as supporting government initiatives to improve rights of women and children. But what you probably all remember Nellie from is the famous Persons case, where Nellie and 5 other intelligent, brave women fought for the right to be considered people in the law. Sounds weird, doesn't it? Apart from the obvious, how different are we really from men that we can no longer be considered people? But this was the life that Nellie McClung, Judge Emily Murphy, Henrietta Muir Edwards, Louise Crabby McKinney, and Irene Parbley lived in. Women were bound by the British North American Act Section 24 from being appointed to Senate. So on the 17th of August 1927, the famous 5 signed a petition and sent it to the Governor-General at the time, the Viscount Wellington. The Minister of Justice, Ernest Lapointe, believed that it would be an act of justice to the women of Canada to obtain the opinion of the Supreme Court upon the point. The Supreme Court ruled unanimously on the 24th of April in 1928 that women were not persons under Section 24 of the BNA Act and were therefore ineligible for appointment to Senate. The famous 5 were disappointed, but not ultimately defeated. There was one high authority they could appeal to, the Privy Council of England. After much deliberation, the Privy Council concluded that the word persons in Section 24 of the BNA Act did include women, and women were eligible to be appointed and to become members of the Senate of Canada. Lord Sankley, who delivered this judgment on behalf of the Privy Council, remarked that the exclusion of women from all public offices is a relic of days much more barbarous than ours. And that to those who ask why the word person should include females, the obvious answer is, why should it not? The great Nellie died in 1951 in her home in British Columbia. Nellie McClung has shown me that you really do have to be the change you see in the world. She showed me that you have to stand up for what you believe, and she made it possible for me to change my world for the better. Nellie McClung, I have the power to change my world for the better. Because of Nellie McClung, I have the courage to refuse to be put down. Because of Nellie McClung, I have the strength to keep on going. Thank you, Nellie.